This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham, and the latest news from Alpena Community College with Dr. Olin Joynton. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Nancy Smitham. My first guest today is Major Craig Stoker from the Salvation Army. Good morning, Craig.
Morning, Nancy.
I know you're running in the door, running out the door, and we're talking about and talking with our next guest how busy this time of year is. And the Salvation Army is busy all the time. It's just that this is when you make the bulk of your money. So you've got the bell ringing campaign. You're trying to get the names in for the Christmas campaign, the food campaign. So it's a tremendously busy time of year.
It really is. We raise about 40% of the income that we use to help people through the year between November and December for about 8 weeks. So it's crazy. But it's a fun crazy.
And you've got some wonderful bell ringers. You know, I walk by the kettles because on the day when I ring for Salvation Army, I drop my check in. Mm-hmm. So I just always go by. I mean, you know, they wave and they're always so happy and so go lucky, and they really make you feel good. So you've really got a good crew out there this year.
We try. Now, a lot of people don't understand. A lot of these are volunteers. We would like to have 100% volunteer bell ringers. We can't get enough volunteers. We do have to hire people. So some of these people we pay minimum wage, which really works out good because they have a job now. They didn't have a job before we hired them.
Right.
And a lot of times they'll sign up for Christmas assistance, and then the second or third or fourth week they'll say, well, you know, I've made enough money and I've kind of paid my bills, so I really don't need your help, which is kind of cool. Yeah, but we have some awesome ones. Tim Hart usually rings at Neiman. He's the little short guy.
Everybody talks about him.
Oh, he is incredible. I wish the rest of our bell ringers worked as hard as he did.
And you know, he walks a tremendous distance to Neiman's. I saw him walking on the north side on a real snowy, blustery day, and I thought, I wonder where he's going. And then an hour later, I saw him at Neiman's. So he walked all the way to Neiman's to ring the bell.
Yes.
And I was at a meeting the other day, and somebody was talking about the man at Neiman's that rings a bell, and when he walked in, he said, hey, Merry Christmas, and the guy said, you know, he just made me feel so good. He said, I walked over and put a donation in the box. I said, that was the plan. Yep. But yeah, he doesn't have to be as happy-go-lucky and as jolly as he is, and he just does a tremendous job.
He does great. And all of our bell ringers do a good job, so we're very thankful for them. We can still use more. If you want to volunteer, if you'd like to ring, call 358-ARMY, 358-2769. Talk to our office manager, Suzanne, who is another gift of God.
Yes, she is.
Our whole staff is. And we can set you up. We'll be ringing through probably noon on Christmas Eve.
Okay. And another thing we want to let people know too, Craig, is that no matter how small your donation is, no matter what you do, it counts in a big way.
Yes, and we make a big deal of that. If a little child comes up and puts a couple of pennies in, we treat that little one just like we would somebody that put a $100 check in the kettle.
You bet.
Because it's not how much you give, it's the thought that counts.
Now, as we're taping this is the week of your food distribution. It's going to happen this week. We've got all the names in. We've had the late sign-up where everything is done. We're ready to rock and roll. How are we doing with volunteers?
We can always use more now. We have enough volunteers for the 19th.
Okay.
That's the day when we invite the families that have been approved for Christmas assistance to come to the mall, our kettle headquarters, and they will receive the toys off from the angels that we've had at the angel trees all around town. They will receive the Christmas basket, which has enough food in it for 5 to 7 days, including a little voucher, and they can get perishables with that, milk and bread and meat and stuff like that. We can still use canned goods because we use them all year.
Sure.
And canned goods, non-perishable food items, so I brought some so people can see, are the things we need the most, not only at Christmas, but throughout the year. And we have a very small food pantry. We probably see between 30 to 40 families a week.
Wow.
Different families that come to us throughout the year and ask for help with utilities or rent or transportation or prescriptions or food or counseling or one thing or another. And so whatever we get in left over after Christmas will go into the pantry, and we use that throughout the year.
So now if someone picks up a few items as they're getting groceries this week, where should they drop them off? Because now you've moved your offices.
Yes, we have. We are now located at the Salvation Army. People call it a church. We call it a CORPS, C-O-R-P-S,
Okay.
on 2nd and Clark.
Okay.
And that's where people will come from now on to receive assistance, to drop off donations, other than at the thrift store. The thrift store will remain where it is. They need more space.
Yes, they
We need
do.
more space, yeah. So this is going to work out really good. We'll be in the north end. There's a lot of need there. There's a lot of people that we can help there. There's a lot of kids that will be coming into our programs. So
And a good time of year, too, if you have some good winter coats, some good winter boots, and hats, and mittens, and scarves, and all those things. This is a good time to clean out those closets and donate them. I was there donating some stuff the other day, and I saw some families in there, and I saw the things that they were picking up, and it was so much better than what they had on and wearing. I thought, thank goodness that the store is here, that people have this resource in the community, and the prices are very, very good.
And of course, the income from our store goes toward providing more assistance for people. And our store manager, Jeannie Guy, is an absolute fabulous lady. She has done an awesome job.
Yes, she has. The store looks beautiful.
Yes.
Your Christmas room is open. People need to get there. Some really wonderful things. A lot of new items, too. Still in packages. Need to get there and look at it. I was there the other day. It's pretty nice.
It is. And people are always, the store is open from Monday through Friday from 10 to 6 and Saturday from 10 to 4.
Okay.
And people are welcome to come in and bring donations. You come around the back or come in and shop because, like you said, a lot of good deals in there. I go over there all the time.
So we're getting very close to the holiday season, and your campaign continues after Christmas. So please don't feel that if you can't drop something off this week, you can drop it next week. You can still volunteer. There's lots of programs, checks, a few dollars dropped in a kettle. Everything you do will make a tremendous difference for the families.
It really will. Our Christmas goal this year is $166,900.
And how are we working towards that goal?
We've got a ways to go.
Okay.
And we are hoping we will get it. We were about $3,000 short last year of our goal. And of course, the United Way had a really hard time.
Yes.
And we got all of us got a significant cut. They didn't get it in, so we couldn't have it.
Right.
So this has not been an easy year. We try to meet all the needs we can. We never want to turn anybody away.
And if you can't donate either money or product, call and see about being a volunteer.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you.
Well, Craig, Merry Christmas to you and your family
and,
everyone
Nancy.
at Salvation Army. Thank you all so much for all that you do in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be right back with Cindy Bauer from the American Red Cross following these messages. Hi, welcome back. As promised, I have Cindy Bauer from the American Red Cross and Debbie Alexander. Hi, ladies, and welcome.
Hello.
Thank you.
So, Cindy, you've busy time for American Red Cross. People think, oh, well, you know, it's the holidays, we don't need blood, but that's not correct.
No, it's not. We need blood 24/7. Platelets only last 5 days. Red blood cells only last 42. And when there's a lot of people traveling, there's more potential for people to get in car accidents or snowmobile accidents. And so as a result, we always need to make sure we've got a safe and adequate blood supply for our friends and family and neighbors. And Deb's got a very interesting story that she's going to be sharing with us today in order to be able to help people really understand the impact it has on everyday people every day.
Okay, Deb, and you are a volunteer and a donor, and how did you get started with the American Red Cross?
My husband passed away about a year ago, and he was in and out of the hospital for about 4 years. He had to have a few transfusions in that time. He was on blood thinners and everything. Sometimes his blood count would go down. He'd desperately need to go in for blood transfusion. And I had been contemplating back and forth for years that if I should donate, and I didn't because I had breast cancer and that kind of delayed me. And then after he died, I found out I could, and I thought I'd do it in honor of my husband. That would be, and then I'd be honoring him, his memory, and helping others too.
And you know, I've been in the position before where a loved one needed a blood transfusion, and you don't even think, what if there wasn't blood available? I mean, you don't even think. They think, okay, let's get it done. What are we waiting for? Get it started. And that's really a frightening thing, because when blood supplies drop critically low, or if there's a disaster or something happens, that could become the reality, that there wasn't a safe and adequate blood supply.
Yeah, and you know, Debbie's story, each one is just a little different and touches us a little differently than the last one. But there are so many people out there that have loved ones that they've either lost, you know, not because there wasn't enough blood, but because their bodies just could not accommodate whatever disease they had. You know, so many of us know people that have been battling cancer, and blood is used for a lot of different cancer therapies. If people are going through radiation or chemotherapy, and you mentioned that he had several transfusions, it breaks down the blood, and so it's not as resilient as it is in a healthy individual. So having platelets or plasma in order to be able to augment the blood in their body is just really very powerful. So, and it's also used for so many other things. Burn victims during the Christmas season, believe it or not, we have a lot of home fires.
Oh, yes.
People need to make sure that they're doing the right things. They're watering their tree. They're making sure that they're using the low voltage lights, or if they have lights that are a little bit older, that they're UL listed, so that we have less of an opportunity for house fires during this time of year. Also, turn your lights off when you're not home. Don't worry about, you know, making the walls, see how beautiful your home is, you know, set up for Christmas, but turn off your lights. Make sure that, you know, you're doing everything you can when you're not there or when you're in bed to make sure your family is safe from the potential of fires.
Okay. Now, Deb, you've actually donated 2 times.
Yes.
And it's pretty painless and pretty easy, isn't it?
It was so easy. It was so much different than I thought it would be. You just lie there and basically you can fall asleep just doing it. You don't see the blood or anything. You don't see the needles, for those people that are scared of needles.
And I don't know how the nurses do it, but you don't even really feel a pick most times.
No, you don't. Don't even realize they're doing it. And you get a cookie afterwards.
A cookie, and usually a little thing that says, I donated.
Yeah. Well, and at St. Mary's they give Sloppy Joes too.
Yay.
Yeah, Linda Bixler, she's been doing that for years, and I don't know who the gentleman is that makes the Sloppy Joes, but they do a New Year's Eve blood drive every year, and then the blood is actually picked up from St. Mary's and driven down to the blood center where it can be processed, so it's on the shelves on New Year's Day. So that's just really a tribute to St. Mary's and their commitment.
We have about 4 minutes left. What else did we want to talk about today, Cindy?
Just a couple other things. I touched on home fires and the fact that Christmas trees, we got to be very careful about those. But there's also other things that we forget to do when we move into the colder seasons. And I would just want to make sure people are doing it so that they are being safe and they're preparing. And that's cleaning out their dryer vents and putting new filters in their furnace. These sound very minor, but many home fires are just because people did not properly maintain one thing or another. So if they can remember to do that, just, you know, put it on their calendar, do it today, do it tomorrow, do it this weekend, you know, go to Home Depot and get a new filter. It's really something that everybody needs to do.
Make sure batteries in your smoke detectors are
And also the carbon dioxide.
Yes.
Yeah, just make sure they're doing those. Also, I want to just ask everybody to remember our men and women in arms. They are around the globe defending our freedoms. They're here in the homeland doing all sorts of great work, whether they're the National Guard and they're being deployed to help the victims of Superstorm Sandy, or whether they're here doing things in our community. We need to reach out to them during this time of year and thank them for their service, because freedom is not free.
Yes.
And we need to make sure that they know how much we appreciate them. Send them a card, send them a postcard. Real important. Last but not least, blood drives, what we were just talking about. Across Northeast Michigan, there are many, many blood drives that are going to be going on throughout the holiday season. And the holiday season, we need a lot of blood in order to be able to make sure it's on our shelves, so that if somebody does need it, in the event of a car accident, in the event of any kind of accident at all. Also, people who are undergoing consistent therapy for cancer or blood disorders, diabetes, you know, all sorts of things. We need to make sure that we have the blood in our community for those that need it. So please go to 1-800-RED Cross and ask about a local blood drive, or go to www.redcrossblood.org.
Okay, and Deb, you brought pictures of your husband. I'd like to
Yes.
have you show those at this time. Just hold them up there for us to see, and Adam can get a picture. So this is why you donate blood, and we ask other people out there. Everyone has someone in their life that they would like to honor them with a blood donation. So please, St. Mary's Blood Drive's coming up. Contact St. Mary's for more information. New Year's Eve, what a great way to kick off the new year.
Yeah. We also have a media blood drive at the mall that's being hosted by The Optimist, and that is on the 28th, which is Friday, and that's from 10 until 4.
Okay. Thank you both very much for being here, and happy holidays to you, and happy holidays to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please stay tuned for Dr. Olin Jointon following these messages.
Good morning. I am Jay Walterite, Director of Public Information and Marketing for Alpena Community College, and this is the ACC portion of Talk of the Town. With me this morning is Betsy Silver, Communications Technician for ACC, someone I have the honor of working with just about every day, fine graphic designer, good communications person, and in this case, someone who can talk about a new service that the college is rolling out for our students. And that service is?
The new service that we're going to be offering for students is called School Messenger, and it is a new way to notify students, faculty, and staff about class cancellations and campus closures. So currently, we have to physically call each student if one of their classes gets canceled, and this will allow us to actually send either a text message and or an email to a student letting them know that their class is canceled, or if we experience some snowy weather conditions like we often do.
The time is coming.
Yes, then we will be able to notify them via text and or email as well that the campus will be closed due to inclement weather. So it's going to be a great improvement over the system that we're currently offering to students.
How so? How is it an improvement?
I think it's a great improvement because it's going to be a lot more convenient. It's going to take less man hours to notify students, and it's also going to be every student nowadays, they have their phone right next to their side, and so how convenient is it to just get a message pop up, oh, this class got canceled, instead of having to go check it somewhere else. They actually have it kind of come right to them, and maybe will help a lot of our students commute from a little bit further away. So if it saves them, the gas money driving from Rogers City or up from Oscoda, they're going to really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm sure. So how do students get involved with School Messenger?
Well, currently we're in the testing phases for School Messenger, and they do have the option, it's called opting in. And so what we're going to be doing is sending out text messages and email notifications to all of our students that we have on file, and they'll have the option of replying to those texts or to those emails with an opt-in, and then that will allow them to continue receiving the messages. In addition, if they accidentally miss that email or miss that text message or delete it, we do have all of the information available on our webpage. On the home page, there's a link directly to it that gives directions on how you can opt in at any time. So, if they miss the message, they can still go to the webpage and click the link to opt in.
Well, we'll talk about that opt-in more in a second, but since you mentioned the webpage, why don't you tell people that it's more than just students who can participate? Oh,
absolutely. So another great thing is that all of our staff and faculty will be able to be involved with this as well, and maybe instead of having to listen on the radio at 5:30 in the morning on one of those crazy February snowstorm mornings, they'll be able to get this information either sent to them via email or text. But we also always list all of our class cancellations and closure information on our webpage. So this is just another form of communication that's going to allow us to get that message out.
Great. Do you have to be a student to use School Messenger?
Actually, no, and we are, once we kind of get through the initial phasing in process where we start using it for class cancellations and for closure information. We will make it available to the general public. So like if a parent would like to opt in to receive the messages, or just a community member that's just wants to know if the college is closed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe if they're taking an ALL class, but they find out the college's campus is closed that day, then they'll be able to receive those messages as well.
And that'd be good for athletic events.
Absolutely. Any event that's going on at the college.
Yeah. Great. So we talked about opting in, which means that the college is going to send a text message to the students who already have their information in our student database.
Correct.
And they can also sign up in other ways by going to the website and following the directions there.
Yep.
Why don't you talk about the process of opting in? And I know we've had some concerns from students and people who think that they're going to get spammed with all sorts of unwanted communications if they participate. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So currently the way that the program is set up is we are allowed to send one text message and one email to all of the phone numbers and emails that we have on file for our current students and staff and faculty, but we will be they have to reply opt in to continue to receive messages. They will only receive messages from ACC, and they will only receive a message if their specific class gets canceled or the whole campus is closed. They won't get a message every time a class is canceled. So they're not going to be receiving like tons of messages, just ones that are pertinent to them.
So they won't be getting a whole bunch of messages. And,
right.
We also won't use that information to send them other messages, solicitations, that type of thing.
Yep, it's just about closures and cancellations, so they won't be receiving any type of advertisement or anything like that, which can be annoying, and people don't like that.
Yeah, and we don't.
We're using it just as a communication tool.
Well, we've been told it's very important for students to have the right information so that they can get the initial opt-in message. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
The most important thing that the students and actually the staff as well need to know is that their email and phone number needs to be correct in our web advisor system. All of our students have access to log in, and just go in and verify that your phone number is listed as a cell phone. That has to be listed as a cell phone for us to be able to send you a text. And then also verify that your email on file is your current email and that it's typed in properly, and save that so that we can, so that you'll get the messages.
So when is this all going to happen?
We're going to start with testing on the beginning of spring semester, which classes start January 14th. So we'll start rolling it out then, and we'll do it in conjunction with what we currently do, which is calling the students, posting online. We'll continue calling and using the school messenger side by side. And then in February, we hope to kind of just phase out the calling portion of it and then just continue on with the school messenger.
So we will probably be texting those students to opt in the beginning of January.
Right. At the beginning of spring semester, January, students will receive an opt-in message, and that's when they will be able to reply opt-in to the text and to the email, and then they will, once they do that, they'll continue to receive messages as it's pertinent to them.
And this will be for all those students who register for spring semester.
Yep. And when you come and register for classes in the spring, we're going to have a nifty little handout that will kind of explain everything as well, with kind of instructions and what to expect.
All right. Well, Betsy, that's very informative. We hope that all of our students take advantage of this program. We will hopefully save them a lot of time and effort and a lot of frustration. I know I've been there when I've rolled up to a class and it says canceled, and I think, oh man.
Right.
But, well, thank you for talking with us about School Messenger,
Thank
Betsy.
you.
And thank you for joining me. Once again, I am Jay Walterwright, Director of Public Information and Marketing for Alpena Community College, and this is Talk of the Town.
This has been Talk of the Town with Nancy Smitham and Dr. Olin Joynton. For a list of events taking place in Northeast Michigan, visit our website at wbkb11.com and click on Community. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.